Today we're looking at essential question number 1, what makes poetry different from other types, as well as essential question number 4, what kind of organization could be used for poetry. We're going to go back into the same learning target that we've covered before, so please date it today's date, and that's organization number 1, create a poetic structure that helps develop your ideas. We're going to look at number 2 here, the sonnet. The sonnet, it has specific rules to follow. So if you're one that likes rules of poetry, you like working in the confines of specific rules that you have to follow, you'll like this one. It's nice to do this one instead of, say, like a haiku, because haikus are more basic and simple and not necessarily something for a more mature writer, whereas sonnets sort of are like the haiku on steroids, because we have a specific number of lines we use, we have a specific rhyme scheme we use, we have syllable counting, just like in that haiku, but it does have specific rules that you have to have in order to follow it. So we're going to look at some definitions for a haiku, or excuse me, for a sonnet, by looking at a video that I did last year for this. Instead of redoing the video, I figured I would just refer back to it from this lesson. So let's look at, on mine, you're going to see that I take the notes on the back side of my learning target packet so that I have the line requirements. So you may want to flip over to the back side so that you can write down these notes if you're interested in doing a sonnet. It is a cool creative form, and so let's go ahead and hear what it's about.
So what is a sonnet all about? Well, first, sonnet develops a rhyme pattern of A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, and then at the bottom we have a rhyming couplet with G, G. A rhyming couplet simply means that they rhyme back to back. Notice how every other line does not rhyme back to back. The rhyme is every other line, but this final line is a back-to-back rhyme. Another thing about a couplet is that each line of a couplet has the same number of syllables, which in a sonnet, they have every line of a sonnet is exactly 10 syllables. So you really have to kind of map out and count out or clap out your syllables to make sure each of them are only 10 syllables in length. Sonnets also are always 14 lines total. So it's always going to be 4, 4, 4, and 2 in that final couplet. So if you're interested in something that has a lot of structure, a sonnet may be something for you. The king of the sonnet is William Shakespeare. And we're going to read a sonnet by William Shakespeare here, and we're going to look at the structure and break it down real quick for you. This is a more challenging piece. I honestly didn't read Shakespeare until I was about in 9th grade in high school. So it's cool that you're getting a glimpse of the challenging structure and great language of Shakespeare in 7th grade. To give you a little background, this poem is about an author, in this poem, the author likes to use paradoxes, or statements that kind of seem to be opposites, to showcase what life is like when his love is around versus what life is like when he's not with his love. I'll read it through. When most I wink, then do mine eyes best see, for all the day they view the things unrespected. But when I sleep in dreams they look on thee, and darkly bright are bright and dark directed. Then thou whose shadows doth make bright, how would thy shadows form happy show? To the clear day with thy much clearer light, when to unseeing eyes thy shade shines so. How would I say mine eyes be blessed made, by looking at thee in the living day, when in dead night thy fair and perfect shade, through heavy sleep on sightless eyes doth stay. All days are nights to see, till I see thee, and nights bright days when dreams do show thee me. So within this piece, it's definitely a sonnet. You can see clearly in the A-B rhyme scheme. So C rhymes with E, there's your A's, unrespected, directed, B's, C's are bright and light, D's show and so, E's made and shade, F's day and stay. So notice how it's every other line rhyme until we get down to that GG couplet at the end, the thee and me both rhyme. So it is establishing that. Let's check for syllable count. When most I wink, then do mine eyes best see. The first line definitely has 10 syllables. So we have the start of a nice sonnet here. You'll notice that this line, unrespected, sometimes Shakespeare likes to smush it. So this is technically 11 if we say out every syllable, but you kind of say unrespected. unrespect it all together and kind of smush it together so that way it keeps that syllable count. Shakespeare also likes to use that little mark over the blessed ed, and so instead of saying blessed as one syllable, he says blessed to keep his 10 syllable count. Shakespeare has that freedom to do so if he likes, but I'd really prefer that you guys actually strictly keep to counting out, clapping out your syllables to make sure if you're writing a sonnet, each line is 10 syllables in length. Notice it's also 14 lines total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have a clear sonnet. How do we know? Well, it has an A-B rhyme scheme throughout until you get to the last GG couplet at the end. It has 10 syllables per line, and it's a 14-line poem total. So you may want to consider establishing one of your organizational types for organization number 1, create a poem structure as a sonnet. It would be neat to test it out, and you might want to consider it.
So, as I explained in that video, this was on another organizational structure that you can use. We have the ballad now as a possible opportunity for you to write, which is a poem that tells a story like a narrative. But now we have sonnet. If you like specific rules that are clearly marked and have a clear start and finish following structure, I would recommend to establish your piece based on that sonnet structure. You have those 14 lines, 10 syllables per line. Every other line rhymes with an A-B rhyme scheme. But notice how that rhyme scheme changes in the second set of 4. We don't rhyme with the ABs in that second set. We have now CD, and then we go EF, and a final rhyming pair, GG, none of which interact with each other. They all rhyme separately in each of their given parts. So if you're interested in a structured poem, I would recommend to go ahead and write a sonnet. Again, this was organization number 1, to create a poetic structure. In this case, the structure of the sonnet to help guide your writing. Go ahead and get working.